Alright, here's the video everybody was waiting for. What happened to me? Why was I posting things that had many people message me and ask me, what is wrong? Why are you posting? What are you doing? Are you okay? Have you gone crazy? Different things like that. I went a little bit crazy, if you will, but I don't like to use the term crazy in the sense that more so I handled things in a way that they could have been done differently. And part of the thing to know about me is that the simple fact that I have a big heart, love everybody, would never hurt anybody. And when things happen to me, I didn't understand why me. And I get that, you know, why worry about why me? It just happened, it's part of life, roll through it, all that kind of stuff that I was told. But at the same time, here's the first thing to know about this video. Why am I doing a video? One is because to post for everybody to know what happened, why I changed, why things changed. For me, fully knowing me, like the people who do know me or have seen past posts prior to December, January type of thing of this year, know that I just normally would post about shows or different good things, bad things that happened in my life and would move on. That was that. So people know my personality, they know my reputation, they know who I am, and they know me as a comedian. And when that changed, people began to wonder what was going on. I didn't want to say a whole lot, didn't feel that I really needed professional help, anything like that. I just kind of had to get through it and move on, sort of deal. So first thing is, I will mention 0 names in this video. I'm not out to hurt anybody. I'm not out to incriminate anybody, nothing like that. I'm just simply out to straighten out. This is what happened, changed me, and don't let it happen to you. If you feel you need professional help or anything, us as comedians, it's like I put in a comment on one of my posts, we tend to enjoy and thrive on knowing that we've made people laugh, we get those kudos at the end of a good show, that sort of stuff, knowing fully well that in the audience someone's mother could have passed away that morning or what have you, their friends took them out to brighten their day and help them out or what have you. We made them laugh for however long we're on stage and took them away from that dark place. But then you got to remember, shortly after the show is over, the accolades and the kudos are gone. We head back to a condo or an apartment or a home, wherever your home is, a hotel room, what have you. May have gone out and partied all night with a bunch of people from the crowd, but at the same time we forget about our own dark places, and when we're alone, that's when we really start to think. And I'm an overthinker. I am. I try to figure everything out and find out why did stuff happen to me. So here goes. Here's what happened. A friend of mine for a very, very, very long time and we started hanging out a lot and almost constantly. And if you saw one, you saw the other. And it was great. It was super fun times. We had a blast. And things started to change after a show here in Moncton at a club. We went, did the show, and during that day we'd gone out and drove around, went down to Fundy National Park and some other places and had a blast. And we went to that show, and that night there was alcohol consumed, and they are who they are, and I love them to death no matter what. What happened was we would cuddle up. It was cold and the booth was full, the place was packed. We would cuddle up, all that kind of stuff, and it probably seemed overly friendly. And just so you know, yes, it's a girl, but not that there's anything wrong with the other way. But so anyway, and my wife fully knows all this stuff. She knows everything. So there's stuff in this video that I'm not proud of, but yeah, I came clean on pretty much everything in life to her. And so anyway, at this show, we're cuddle up quite a bit, and sat on my lap a couple times, that sort of stuff. Nothing new. It's been that way forever. No big deal. And following the show, we, not them and I, but myself and a couple other comics were going to another show. And the question came up, did we do anything that night at that last show? And one of the comics was there, one was not. I said, no, why would we have? You know, like, sure, it may have seemed flirty to people or what have you, or we were over the top or what have you. No way. It was two friends and that was that, and we know where the line was. So anyway, I said no, and then one made another comment and all that kind of stuff. And the friend and I were messaging at the time, and I said, my goodness, you're not going to believe this, and sent back the messages and all that kind of stuff. And that's a lesson on careful what you say to who you say it to. Just in the sense that, not that I don't trust them or anything like that, just due to the sense that don't put too much of your personal life outside of the professional life of comedy and those sorts of things to people that you trust or you don't. So it's that easy. You know, there are some things in life, like financial and all that kind of stuff, that you should keep to yourself. And it's really nobody's business. So anyway, continued on. Another comic sent me a message basically on the same thing, pretty much at the exact same time. And I thought, well, that's weird that now this guy sends a message, excuse me, right after two others make that comment. Didn't really think anything of it. To give you a timeline, the show here was November, October or November, and late November, we were headed to a different show at that time. So anyway, a few weeks later, approaching Christmas, things started to change. Now my friend and I would message constantly and talk about everything under the sun. I knew everything about them, they knew everything about me. We would talk about anything at all. And no judgment between us, anything like that. So it was great to have that person where you can say da 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 da, and you know, you're throwing something out there that anybody else would judge you, but you know they're not going to, and you're not going to judge them. So anyway, things started to change where it started to slow down on the messages and stuff. And it started to become, if I was going to meet up with them, where normally it would have been 20 minutes, boom, they were ready, let's go. It started to become 3-4 hours and all that kind of stuff. And what happened was, at the exact same time, I started to notice a comic that I had opened up to quite a bit about my friendship and such. And you know, there was nothing sexual, but just the friendship that was there and all that kind of stuff. My feelings for, you know, I'm not scared if my wife sees this. Yes, I loved her to death. And the friend, but also my wife, yes, but the friend, I loved them to death. They were absolutely a person that I wanted to be around because I could talk to them. And we had that camaraderie. So when things started to change, I started to notice on Messenger that the green dots, this is the green dot theory. So what happened was, one person's green dots, her and I would be chatting, and suddenly we would stop chatting, like the conversation would kind of stop, and then someone would come on and we would have just the odd chat through that, and then without finishing our conversation, they'd both be gone off at the same time. Could have even been 3-4 in the morning. It didn't matter when. That's the way that it worked. And that continued for quite a while, and that started to make me wonder what's going on. So when I questioned about it, I really didn't know what the response would be. And it was no, like there's, you know, nothing there. And you know, I was hoping that nobody was saying anything about anything that I told her or the other one or anything like that, in the sense that it was private conversations that we had. Then a second show in Moncton, and right before that show, probably the show was in January, and probably a few weeks before that show, I had a comedian from out of town send me a message and say, hey, I'm in Moncton and I found a club, we can set up a open mic, blah blah blah. And I kept trying to find out what club, and they really wouldn't answer, so I just kind of let it slide and let it go. So they messaged back a little while later and said, hey, I'm at the club right now, and I said, dude, it's 10:30, It's getting a little bit late, and what club is it? And, you know, maybe I'll head over. And they wouldn't reply. So I just said, you know what, it's too late, forget about it. There's a show at this club on this date, and it's an open mic. I'll introduce you to the guy that sets up the open mics. I'll introduce you to someone who's opening a club here in town. And maybe we can get something going in Moncton, but I'm not real interested in setting up shows. So anyway, great, I'll be there. So that night, the second show happens in Moncton. And I had even told them, this person that had sent me a text, I said, I'll even throw you a bone and tell you, I'll be wearing blue jeans and a red shirt. And that's what I'll wear that night. And they said, don't worry about it, I already know who you are and I know exactly what you look like. And it was weird, so I didn't, just things weren't adding up in my life at that point very much. And, you know, not a whole lot, but a little bit was starting to kind of make me wonder what's going on here. And so anyway, that night of the show, I got a text from him at 8:30. The show started at 8. Is the show still a go? I said, yes, great. I had a meeting at TD down the road, and I'll be there soon. So anyway, so okay, great, see you then. And went up on stage thinking, who has a meeting at TD at 8:30 at night? But anyway, whatever. So I went up on stage and did my show, came off stage, and when I came down off the stage, I was walking back up towards the bar, and some guy stopped me and said, you're even effing funnier than I thought you would be. I said, thanks, I guess. And he goes, I'm so-and-so, and shakes my hand. And I went, oh, okay, great. The next morning, my wife had a text on her phone that someone had sent her and said,